once upon a time. You hear that phrase, and it just wraps you in this familiar comfort, doesn't it? Classic tales.
Mm-hmm. Instantly recognizable.
Yeah, and we often think of fairy tales as, well, simple stories, maybe little lessons for kids, with a bit of magic thrown in.
Right. Charming, maybe a bit quaint.
Exactly. But what if those same stories, the ones we think we know inside out, actually hold these incredible, hidden layers? Real human insights, surprising twists, timeless truths that maybe we've just been overlooking.
Oh, absolutely. It's true. We tend to focus on the surface, right? Enjoy the fantasy, the magic beans or whatever. But the real power, the stuff that makes them last, is often buried deeper. Those moments that make you stop and go, hang on, there's something else going on here.
Yes. And that's pretty much our mission today. We're taking a deep dive into a really fascinating and honestly surprisingly complex tale from the Brothers Grimm. It's called The Goose Girl at the Well, or, in the original German, Die Gänsehirin am Brunnen.
Ooh, I like that one.
Me too. And our goal is really to peel back those layers, look past the talking geese maybe and the transformations and try to find the profound human stuff, the unexpected bits, the lessons that still resonate. We'll get into how first impressions can be so wrong, what real value actually means, and the almost shocking power of a single word.
Think of it like we're heading into this forest of human nature, and this old story is our map. We'll start by setting a scene, painting a picture of this character who, well, she challenges our judgments right from the very beginning.
Let's do it. Okay, so picture this. An ancient old woman. The story says she lives way out in the middle of nowhere, basically. Remote wilderness, mountains, forests all around. Total isolation.
Mm-hmm.
And every single morning, even though she's clearly very old, she grabs her crutch and, well, the story says she waddles into the woods. She's surprisingly active, though.
Yeah, not just sitting around.
No. She's gathering grass, tons of it, for her geese, reaching up high for wild fruit. And then, get this, she carries it all home on her back. Huge, heavy loads. You can almost picture her bent right over. But she always makes it back.
And this is where it gets interesting, right? The theme of appearance versus reality just hits you straight away.
Right.
Because the story tells us people actively avoided her, went out of their way. Fathers warned their sons, whispering, Nimm dich Nacht vor der Alten, die hat's faustdick hinter den Ohren. Es ist eine Hexe.
Basically, watch out for the old woman. She's tricky. She's got secrets. She's a witch.
Wow. Just like that. She's a witch!
Yeah. It's not just that she's eccentric or lives alone. She's actually, demonized by the community based on how she looks, where she lives.
It's really striking, isn't it, how fast those judgments stick based on whispers, maybe odd habits, looking different. And the story, well, doesn't waste any time pushing back against that.
No, it dives right in. Yeah, we're going to follow this journey today that takes us from this young, sort of privileged count who ends up being forced into this incredibly tough, backbreaking job by this very same witch.
Okay.
Then we jump to a queen who has this sudden, really dramatic collapse just from seeing a single pearl.
A pearl.
A single pearl.
Huh.
And then there's this word, a really simple common word, salt, that turns out to have this huge, almost destructive power.
It's amazing how these threads, they seem so disconnected at first, but they really weave together, don't they? This isn't just kids stuff, magic wands and happy endings. It feels much more like a deep dive into human nature. Forgiveness, maybe. Finding wisdom where you least expect it.
Definitely.
It really makes you ask, what secrets does an old woman, her geese, and, a well in the moonlight actually hold? What are we supposed to learn if we're willing to look past that surface level? Let's try and unpack it.
Okay. So the story picks up with this young man. He's a count, rich, described as being full of joy, youthful energy. And one morning he's out and about and he stumbles upon the old woman.
Bewitched.
A supposed witch, yeah. She's down on her knees, cutting grass with a sickle. She's already got this huge bundle piled up, plus baskets overflowing with fruit. And he feels sorry for her, right? He asks how on earth she could manage all that.
And here's where her wisdom starts to poke through his maybe easy pity. She kind of turns it back on him, subtly. Hints that rich folks don't usually carry loads like this. Then, almost innocently, asks for his help.
Right, she points out his Jeraden buckle and young Albany, his straight back and young legs. Says it'd be easy for him.
It's a test, isn't it? You can almost see it. Is this pity real, or is it just, the kind of detached sympathy of someone well off looking down?
It really feels like it. And he agrees, but almost defensively. He says something like, yeah, my father's a rich count, but I want to show that peasants aren't the only ones who can carry. There's a bit of pride in that, maybe.
Or ego, trying to prove something.
Yeah, maybe more to himself than to her. So the old woman loads him up, puts this massive bundle on his back, hangs 2 heavy baskets on his arms, and tells him, oh, it'll be easy. But almost immediately, the count's struggling. He protests, nein, es geht nicht leicht, he says. Der Bündel drückt ja so schwer, als wären lauter Wackersteine darin.
He's saying, no, it's not easy. The bundle's heavy like it's full of stones. The fruit weighs like lead. I can hardly breathe.
That's such a key moment.
Mm-hmm.
The weight isn't just, physical grass and fruit. It's suddenly the weight of his own assumptions. His privilege, his misjudgment of her, it's all crashing down on him.
Exactly. And he wants to drop it, but she won't let him. She kind of mocks him, reminds him he volunteered, pushes him on. She even whips his legs with nettles when he stumbles.
Ouch.
Yeah. And then the kicker, she jumps onto the bundle herself. He has to carry her too.
Whoa. Okay, that's intense. It's like this symbolic burden now.
Yeah.
He's carrying the physical stuff plus her, plus the weight of this whole unfair task. It's an incredible image. It really feels like a trial, a physical manifestation of it. He's forced to slog up this mountain, sweating, aching, until he finally collapses at her house, completely spent.
And what's waiting for him there?
Well, he sees the Goose Girl, and she's described as hässlich wie die Nacht, ugly as night. And the Count, even after his ordeal, thinks to himself basically, wow, even if she were 30 years younger, she still wouldn't stir my heart.
Ooh, harsh. So much for learning humility on the climb up.
Right. First impressions die hard. Anyway, after all that, the old woman gives him his reward. But it's not money, which you kind of sense he expects. It's a small box carved from a single emerald.
An emerald box, okay.
He takes it, and instantly he feels refreshed. All the exhaustion vanishes. He thanks her, maybe a little puzzled, and leaves. Doesn't even give the ugly Goose Girl a second glance.
That instant recovery is interesting, though. He goes through this punishing experience, and then poof, this magical object fixes everything. It suggests the reward isn't really about payment, is it? It's something deeper, maybe, like he gains some resilience. But crucially, his view of them hasn't changed.
Doesn't at all. He still thinks the old woman is probably a witch, the girl is ugly. He wanders off, the story says for 3 days, gets lost, and then, almost like fate, or maybe the old woman's plan, he ends up in a big city and is brought before the king and queen. He decides to give the emerald box to the queen. She opens it, looks inside, and immediately collapses. Just falls down like she's dead.
Wow. Okay, that is not what you expect from getting a gift. What on earth could be in that box, or what does it represent?
Exactly. What immense guilt or maybe longing does that one object trigger in her? It's clearly not just a pretty gem. It's like this tangible, painful reminder of something lost. When she comes to, she sends everyone away, wants to talk to the Count alone, and weeping really bitterly, she tells him this heartbreaking story. Turns out she had 3 daughters. The youngest was incredibly beautiful, white as snow, red as apple blossom, hair like sunbeams. Standard fairy tale beauty, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
But here's the kicker, the amazing detail. When this youngest daughter cried, her tears weren't water. They were lauter Perlen und Edelstein, actual pearls and jewels.
Whoa, okay, so her sorrow literally creates treasure. That flips things around, doesn't it? Usually beauty is the treasure. Here, sadness is.
It really does, and it ties into the theme of value and how easily we miss what's truly precious. So the queen explains that the king, wanting to decide his inheritance, asked his daughters how much they loved him. Classic test.
The flattery test, always risky.
Totally. The eldest says, like the sweetest sugar. The second, like my best dress, surface level stuff. Pleasing answers.
Sweet, but maybe not deep.
Exactly. But the youngest, the beautiful one who cries jewels, she struggles. Finally, she says, Die beste Speise schmeckt mir nicht ohne Salz. Darum habe ich den Vater so lieb Salz. Which means, the best food doesn't taste good without salt, so I love my father as much as salt.
Salt. Okay. That's different. It's not flashy.
No, it sounds humble, right? Understated. But think about it. It's an incredible statement. Salt is fundamental, essential. You can't live without it, really.
It preserves, it enhances everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's actually incredibly profound.
But the king, he doesn't see it. He's furious. He thinks it's insulting, paltry compared to sugar and dresses. So, blinded by his ego, wanting flattery, he banishes her. Sends her into the wild forest with nothing but a sack of salt.
Oh, that's brutal. Just for telling an unpopular truth about her love.
Brutal. And the queen adds that the path she walked away on was apparently strewn with pearls that fell from her eyes as she wept. The king, of course, regretted it later, searched everywhere, but couldn't find her.
So that's the crux of it right there. The king wanted sweet talk, missed the deep, essential truth in his daughter's words. Salt is vital. Her love wasn't sugary and fleeting, it was foundational. And the pearls, her tears of suffering, they were literally worth more than all the sugar and fancy clothes in the kingdom. The irony is just, ouch.
It really highlights how we often value the superficial over the essential, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We go for the sparkle instead of the substance.
And now, suddenly, the Count's story clicks into place. The queen explains that the single pearl inside that emerald box he brought, it was exactly the kind her banished daughter cried.
Ah, so the box contained proof. Proof of her daughter's existence, her suffering.
Exactly. And the Count, of course, confirms he got the box from the old woman in the forest, the same one he still thinks might be a witch.
Of course he does, but now the king and queen know where to look.
Right. This immediately sends them racing towards the forest, hope totally rekindled, desperate to find this old woman and, hopefully, their lost daughter.
And what happens when they get there? Is it some big confrontation with the witch?
Oh, what's fascinating is how quiet it is. They arrive at dusk, find the old woman just sitting calmly at her spinning wheel inside her little cottage. Her daughter, the Goose Girl, comes in from the pasture, and they all just sit there in silence. For 2 hours, the women's spinning. It's so ordinary.
Domestic, almost.
Yeah.
Completely contrasts with the high drama of the queen's story and their desperate search.
Totally. Then this old owl lands outside the window, hoots 3 times. And the old woman looks up and just says, very calmly, Jetzt ist Zeit, Töchterchen, dass du hinausgehst zu deiner Arbeit. Now it's time, little daughter. Go out and do your work.
Her work. What work does a Goose Girl do at night?
Ah, well, this is the work. She goes out to a well nearby, near 3 old oak trees. The moon comes out full and bright, lights everything up. It's like the stage is set for something big.
Huh.
And the Count, remember him? He got separated from the king and queen in the woods, and he's hiding up in a tree, watching. Still suspicious, probably thinking, aha, caught the witch doing her magic.
Always assuming the worst, this guy.
Pretty much. But then the Goose Girl takes off this hot, the story calls it, like a skin or a covering from her face. She leans over the well and starts washing herself. And instantly, she's transformed.
Transformed how?
Utterly. Her gray braid comes undone, and this cascade of golden hair, like literal sunbeams, covers her completely. Her eyes sparkle like stars. Her cheeks grow like apple blossoms. She's breathtakingly beautiful. The real princess is revealed.
Wow. So the ugliest night was a disguise, a covering.
Exactly. It's not just a physical change. It's like her true self, her essence, is finally revealed. That skin was a mask, maybe humility, maybe suffering, maybe protection. It served its purpose.
And it taught people a lesson, perhaps, about judging by appearances.
Could be. And as she sits there, radiantly beautiful now, she starts weeping again, bitterly. And yes, her tears fall into the well as actual pearls and jewels. This is it. The culmination of her suffering literally becoming priceless treasure.
And the Count sees all this.
He does. He's absolutely stunned. So focused, he leans too far, a branch snaps. And just like that, poof, the girl slips her skin back on, the moon gets covered by a cloud, and she vanishes.
Ah, that classic fairy tale thing, the fleeting glimpse of truth, then it's gone.
Right. He scrambles down, rushes after her. He bumps into the king and queen, who'd also seen a light from the cottage. He tells them everything he just saw at the well.
And they must know immediately.
Instantly. It has to be their daughter. They all hurry back to the cottage. And the old woman. She seems to be expecting them, greets them calmly. "Nur herein, ich kenne euch schon. Just come in, I already know you." Like she planned the whole thing.
It really feels like she orchestrated this entire reunion, doesn't it? Guiding everyone to this point.
It does. And her next words are powerful. She tells the king and queen they could have saved themselves a lot of trouble if they hadn't, unjustly thrown out their good and loving child 3 years ago.
Calling them out on it. Good.
Yeah, but gently. She makes it clear the princess wasn't harmed by being a goose girl. She didn't learn anything bad, kept her pure heart. But the parents, they sind durch die Angst in der ihr gelebt habt hinlänglich gestraft. Basically, you've been punished enough by the anxiety you lived through.
So it's not about revenge. It's about the natural consequences of their actions causing them pain. That feels wise.
It does. Then she calls the princess out from another room, and she appears not as the Goose Girl, but in her silken gown, golden hair, shining eyes. Like an angel coming from heaven, the text says.
What a moment that must have been.
Oh, imagine, tears, reunion. The young count is there too, and when the princess sees him, she blushes deeply, like a moss rose, it says. She doesn't know why, but maybe it's some echo of his kindness, however grudging, when he carried that awful load for her.
Maybe some unconscious connection. Interesting.
So the king, feeling he's already basically given away his kingdom through his foolishness, wonders what he can possibly give his daughter now. And the old woman steps in with her final, amazing gift. She reminds everyone where true wealth comes from.
What does she say?
She says, Ich schenke ihr die Tränen, die sie euch geweint hat. I give her the tears she wept for you. They are pure pearls, more beautiful than any found in the sea, and worth more than your whole kingdom.
Wow. That's the core of it right there. Her suffering, her love, her undervalued truth. That's the real treasure. More valuable than anything material.
Exactly. And she adds that the princess can have her cottage, too, as payment for her service.
And the old woman.
And with that, she just vanishes. The cottage instantly transforms into a magnificent palace. A royal feast appears. Servants pop up. The story sort of ends quickly there, implying the princess marries the count. They live happily. But the narrator makes one thing crystal clear. That the old woman was not a witch, despite what everyone thought. She was eine weise Frau, die es gut meinte. A wise woman who meant well, who had good intentions. The narrator even suggests she was probably the one who gave the princess the gift of crying pearls at birth in the first place.
Ah, so she knew all along what the princess would face and equipped her for it. Her wisdom wasn't magic spells. It was foresight, guidance, orchestrating growth.
Precisely. So when we look back on this deep dive into the Goose Girl at the well, it really did challenge our perceptions from the very start, didn't it?
Absolutely. From the villagers calling the old woman a witch, completely misjudging her.
Right. To the young count struggling with that impossibly heavy load, even with her riding on top and hitting his legs. Our initial assumptions were constantly being tested.
And then the king's reaction, that harsh snap judgment about his daughter's love like salt, banishing her based on his own bruised ego.
Which caused the queen so much sorrow, years of worry, all while ignoring the simple, profound truth that salt is essential. You need it.
Unlike sugar or fine dresses, which are nice but not vital.
Exactly. And then, that incredible transformation at the well. The Goose Girl, shedding that ugly skin to reveal this radiant princess, her tears literally pearls, directly flipping that first impression of her being ugly as night.
Yeah. And finally, understanding the old woman herself, not a witch at all, not evil, but a wise woman, eine weise Frau, with good intentions, guiding people, transforming them if they were willing to go through her difficult lessons.
It's such a powerful illustration of how easily we judge, isn't it? Based on looks or rumors or words we don't immediately understand. How often do we do that? Like the villagers, just taking a detour around someone we've decided is weird or difficult. And maybe missing out on something important.
And it also shines such a bright light on the value of things we overlook or undervalue. That simple love like salt dismissed at first, but ultimately shown to be the most fundamental life-sustaining thing. And her tears, born from pain and rejection, become these priceless gems, literally worth more than a kingdom. It tells us that true value, real worth, it often lies in what's essential, what's maybe earned through hardship, not just in the flashy, superficial stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And that brings us to the other big theme. Transformation through trials. Both the Count and the Princess went through some serious challenges.
Definitely. His grueling trek up the mountain, her 3 years disguised as a goose girl.
These weren't just random punishments, were they? They felt necessary, almost like orchestrated processes guided by the wise woman that led to real growth, recognition, and ultimately profound change for everyone. It really suggests that deep understanding often only comes after you've walked the hard path.
That's a powerful thought. And the story leaves us with one more little mystery, doesn't it? That bit at the very end where the narrator speculates about the geese.
Oh, yeah. Read that bit again.
Sure. It says, ob die schneeweißen Gänse, die bei dem Häuschen gehütet wurden, lauter Mädchen waren. Es braucht's niemand überzunehmen, welche die Alte zu sich genommen hatte. Und ob sie jetzt ihre menschliche Gestalt wiedererhielten und als Dienerinnen bei der jungen Königin blieben, das weiß ich nicht genau, aber ich vermute es doch.
Basically, whether the Snow White geese were actually girls the old woman had taken in. No offense intended. And whether they got their human forms back and stayed as servants for the new queen, I don't know for sure, but I suspect it.
Yeah.
And that just leaves you thinking, doesn't it? What if this story we just unpacked, this transformation, wasn't a one-off? What if the wise woman didn't just help this lost princess, but maybe lots of others, hidden in plain sight as geese, waiting for their own chance, their own revelation?
It opens up a whole other layer, right?
It really does. So here's a thought to leave you with. How many witches or strange old figures, in stories, or maybe even people we encounter in our own lives, might actually be these wise, benevolent forces, quietly setting up challenges, orchestrating growth, maybe even redemption for those who are open enough or maybe just forced to endure their trials. It kind of invites us to look again, doesn't it? To look beyond the obvious in every story, every encounter, maybe even every goose.